Here begins my love-hate, love-again relationship with G.I. Joe flying toys. I got a Skymate glider at around the same time I got Major Altitude and his battle copter. Not being much of a sportsman, and with no throwing arm to speak of, and even less of an understanding of aerodynamics, I couldn't get my glider to do anything other than a swift nosedive. And the battle copter? Well, you look at it. It flew high. It crashed down low. Onto bricks, which instantly cracked the rotor ring. For years it flew poorly with this tap broken ring creating instability, till I took safety scissors and sliced it off. But I was an idiot. The ring, of course, had an important structural function, so my battlecopter's first unencumbered flight was its last, as it came down hard on this blade and snapped it clean off. So now Major Altitude's ride is for light play and display only. As for Major Altitude himself, not a bad Franken-Joe if I do say so. And I do. I never had a wildcard figure growing up, nor did he have any media impact to speak of, only appearing in a few issues of the comic that I didn't own. Major Altitude's colors are great. He is adequately covered up to stay warm at altitude, has a helmet with what looks like sufficient hearing protection, and the harness he repurposes from Star Viper is perfect, because it is very fitting. Ha ha, a pun. Because it fits him well and is also appropriate. Whatever, I'll leave the jokes to HCC. There is a sculpt oddity. He buckles his belt with a navy anchor. But that's of course because he stole that part from Keelhaul. Pants are from Hardtop, and the symphony of parts work because they serve his function well and are tied in using consistent color cues. It always felt like a dark green jumpsuit with light green pads to me, not an astronaut's torso married to a sailor's crotch and a ground crewman's legs. Oh, fun fact, his rank is Chief Warrant Officer, not Major, so Major Altitude is his actual codename, and not an indication of his rank. I suppose it helps differentiate him from Altitude, the Sky Patrol guy, though I'd say Sky Patrol's Altitude is better suited to handle major altitudes. A helicopter pilot with no oxygen mask should perhaps have been called Minor Altitude. But it was the 90s, so maybe we're meant to say it with attitude. I'm Major Altitude, dude. Weapon selection is great, and I'm glad it saw use beyond old wind chill. When he's on the ground, he's a sniper with a big scope. When he's in the air, he can suppress ground targets with a burst of auto. I'm no gun expert, but that's a big box magazine, and provided he can control it, he'll have no trouble raining death from above. But in 1991, this Joe operative was designed to square off against what everyone seems to agree is a vastly superior action figure. Naturally, my buddy Lyle got the cool Cobra version, and I was stuck with the vanilla Joe. Or is that Mint? Whatever, he always got the awesome bad guys. I am of course referring in this case to Interrogator. Now this is an entirely original figure, and most Joe fans will agree it deserves a place in the Hall of Fame. It's not difficult to see why. The colors are such a strong callback to Cobra's primary palette. There are elements of Cobra Commander in there, the Crimson Guard, Firefly, Boba Fett. How'd you get in there? Because he's cool, that's how. And there are touches that are uniquely Interrogators that don't let the side down. Knuckle dusters, anyone? Horizontal red stripes? Studded boot and glove cuffs? The helmet? You can already see the difference between devil-may-care child Steve and timid adult Steve. The control arms are a stretch for our figure's thumbs. While my childhood toy got stretched to fit straight out of the box, my recently acquired minty Interrogator merely rests his hands atop the stick. And pushing his weapon into his hand is pure fantasy. The grip is thick, and his hands will most certainly erase those fine details if I push them past his merciless thumbs and fingers. But it's most certainly a very cool figure and a finely molded piece, so credit there. Too fiddly for its own good, and a personal source of frustration, but I'm nevertheless happy the auction included it. So let's compare the Joe and Cobra copters, shall we? Similar sets with the same intended function, but some cosmetic differences that push one into a more desirable bracket. Maybe my tastes are skewed because I always fawned over Lyle's copter, but while I don't mind the Joe design, I absolutely frickin' love the Cobra design. The inverted tail boom feels more aggressive, that evokes the German Fokker aircraft from the First World War, whereas the gentle slope of the Joe version channels the Sopwith lines. The Cobra version has a thicker body with this ribbing that for some reason makes me think of the hood of a cobra snake about to strike. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. We see a subtle touch that reminds us of the differing views on crew survivability between Joe and Cobra in the way the pilot fits in. The copters have an attenuated seat, but while Cobra allows its pilots to manipulate the control sticks in the conventional manner for helicopter flight, G.I. Joe inverts this. These bars will keep Major Altitude from getting a haircut. Interrogator, on the other hand, had better hope his waist clip is firm around his smock. As if to really hammer home that this is a death trap, Cobra designers saw fit to slap the "Stay clear" indication on the blades. Real funny, guys. Personal safety aside, sticker detail is another point that the Cobra offering has over the Joe. Look at that! It's design perfection. Well, apart from the darn trademark indication. No one felt a need to slap a trademark on this. Or this. Final thing the Cobra Whirlybird has over the Joe one is this. Once again, Cobra's weapons prove to be nothing short of devastating. Zero regard for collateral damage. It's like a hose pipe spraying water out of control. As a child, I reasoned that this was where the spiraling barrage of fire emanated from. It's a separate sculpted piece for reasons that were never apparent to my 8-year-old brain. There's a similar circular separate piece on the Joe Copter. Ironically, I think my childhood Joe Battle Copter was a latter release to the Cobra one. The Joe Copter was the European release and the rotor stem is solid. The Cobra's has this negative space. I don't doubt it's more prone to breakage, but it's cooler. Oh dear, Advantage Cobra again. But you came to G.I. Joeberg to see us play with our toys, right? Well, strap in, this battlecopter is about to take off. And here we are, Sea Point, Cape Town. In the distance you can see Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela spent most of his incarceration. There's the sunset. Little photography trick, always film at golden hour. There's my steed. And there we have the subject of this little adventure. Today we've got the stunt copter. I used the later release G.I. Joe Battle Copter in this video because, as you can see, it's not warped like the Cobra one was. And I don't like it as much. So I don't mind if it gets a little roughed up. Piloting it, we've got Slipstream from the Spy Troops line, because he's got those oh so delicious gummy thumbs and he won't have any difficulty grasping the control sticks. We're using the older handle because I find the black one for some reason has too much grip. It doesn't release the copter easily enough. And we're using my original green ripcord because it is straight, and I think a straighter ripcord will give us a faster pull. Right, let's assemble our setup. Come on, Slipstream. It's handy that he is actually the same mold as the Ace that came with this copter, so I don't feel like this is quite as much of a cheat. Now, it's always best to put the zip cord through first before you connect it to the chopper, because otherwise you just got this thing turning on the end of your handle, and it will probably come off a couple of times. It is the perfect condition for this video. Not a breath of wind, all the space in the world, no dogs that I can see yet. We're going to tilt it slightly away from us and hopefully it'll travel in that direction. Let's have a look, shall we? Let's try it again. Here we go. Not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 meters. 8 meters of flight. Well done, you little guy. Yeah. And he's hanging in there. Hasn't released just yet. Let's do a gorgeous into the sunset shot. Here we go. Beautiful. One more like that, please. Yeah. Oh, he's come unstuck a little bit, but easily rectified. Okay, let's go. Nice. I'm gonna use my bag as a target. Let's see if we can hit it. These aren't the most accurate, but it should be exciting anyway. Wow. It's a good tall flight, but missed. Okay, we've established that accuracy is not this thing's finest attribute, but let's just go for all-out altitude test. Here we go. Not bad at all. I had such a good time that I brought the copter to a beach day with my niece and nephew. Even my old man got stuck in.
Wow! Oh yeah!
Very graceful, Dad. Bravo! My old man, Ken Jabba. Hey, there's my niece.
Hello.
Hello, niece. Hello, Yada. Hello, Pio.
Oh, that was pathetic.
Lame. Lame, Dad.
Oh. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, KCJ, the progenitor, the main man.
Oh yeah.
Can he get it right? Oh, he's looking good. Find the notch, line it up.
Line it up.
Line it up. Pretty little thing in it.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh.
yeah, there's a groove and a notch. All right, give it a big crank, Dad. Whoa! Oh man, can't get it right for camera. Bravo, bravo. Ladies and gentlemen, take a bow.
Take a bow. Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Steady, go!
Wow! Distance. Perfect.
I can see that.
You got it. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
I can see that.
What a good golden retriever I have. What's your name, boy?
Theo!
Hey! My little nephew.
That's again.
That's a very good idea.
Let's do that again.
Go get it, boy. He's good at this. Oh no, we've lost the pilot. Priorities. You got it. Bravo, little man. Bravo. Thank you. Perfect. Ready to go again.
Go.
Go!
Thank you, buddy. Gonna count me in? Ready?
Thanks, Theo. Thank you, big boy. What a good helper.
Maximum altitude test. Whoa! That's one way of getting out of dangerous situations. I think I made it, man.
Go! Ready, steady, go! Wow!
Yeah. Good boy.
Ready, steady, go!
Yeah, he held on. Woohoo! It's a mermaid. Oh, hello, mermaid. My name's Slipstream. I'll take the camera out of my mouth. My name's Slipstream, and I'm here to say hello. Are you in any danger?
Yes.
Really?
I'm in the water and I've been swept away by the sea.
Oh no! What can I do? Can I bring you buckets of water?
Yeah.
And that'll keep you from drying out. Good. All right, I'm off.
So, a few observations. This guy is one tough MF. Between takes, I cut loose a little too close to the rocks and he came crashing down on what was decidedly not a soft landing. 1 or 2 paint scuffs and that was it. I was expecting to find him shattered. Not only did he come down hard on sharp rocks, but he was flung from the copter and tumbled down a rocky fissure between 2 boulders too. Well done, Spy Troop Slipstream. Second observation, angling this whirlybird to try and make it go in a certain direction is pure fantasy, especially if there is a breath of wind. While the gliders will generally zoom in whatever direction you chuck them, provided it's not blowing a gale, these guys will only ever go up, get taken by the wind, and come down. Third observation, plastic on plastic doesn't give the zip cord the smoothest zip. Remember gyrobots? Those things spun forever. They had finely machined metal parts that spun in their hard plastic housings magnificently. These, not so much. They're adequate, but a stronger, more thinly machined material like metal would have been beneficial. Final observation, my nephew is too small to get the force required to get these things to lift off. Could make for a pretty frustrating toy for a young child. But he was the most awesome retrieval crew ever, and my niece is the cutest mermaid there ever was. Regardless of whether these are sought after or ignored, they represent a popular play feature of the era which I think has died out since. And of all the zip strip powered toys of the era, these ones might not be the best designed, but they can carry a G.I. Joe figure and therefore by default are the greatest. Yo Joe everybody.
Fire knuckle duster cannons! Yeah!